Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to A Woman's Secret Code to Becoming Magnetic, Irresistible, and Unstoppable. This is the masterclass that is going to absolutely change your life. You are going to learn about your body in a way that you should have been taught in school. We all should have been taught, and you're going to be so blown away and have such a new depth of appreciation and just gratitude for your body, and just realize that you really do truly have everything within you to create the life that you want. And all it requires is just living in flow with your body's unique rhythm and power. So let's dive in. So I just want to point out a couple of things, a couple reasons why you're going to love this masterclass. And once again, this is all about aligning your life and your business to the natural rhythms of your cycle. And just a few reasons why this is so powerful. For one, it makes breaking through limiting beliefs and thought patterns that much more effortless. And I will explain to you the science behind that. You are going to be absolutely blown away, and it's going to make so much sense. It allows you to tap into your unique brilliance and really just boost your confidence in a way that feels effortless. You're going to feel so deeply connected to your intuition, and you're going to have so much more clarity when it comes time to just knowing what the right next step is for yourself, for your life, your business, whatever it is that you want to create for yourself. And then above everything, you really awaken your magnetism, your irresistible, your sense of being irresistible, and just feeling and knowing that you are just completely unstoppable. And that is because you are not just, you are a creator of source, God, universe, whatever it is that you resonate with. The more you delve into all of this, the more you're going to realize that we're all essentially connected, and we have so much limitless power that we are essentially made of. And when you really tune into yourself, to all of this, you really start to embrace that. So if you are wondering if you're in the right place, let's just kind of go over a couple of things that will help to clarify that, because I don't want you wasting your time. I know how precious your time is. So if you are driven and you are ambitious, but yet you're struggling to maintain the energy that's required to create the business that you want, the impact that you're craving to create, then this is for you. If you are high performing yet really drained, so despite all the external success and the ongoing drive that you have, at the end of the day, it feels like you're dragging your feet throughout the day just to get things done. And at the end of the day, things aren't starting to feel as fun. It's starting to feel more forceful, and it's just not feeling as impactful as it once was. And you're here because you're essentially desiring alignment. You can create in force, or you can create in flow. And when you create in flow, you're in a state of magic where, the right people, the right opportunities, your soul clients, everything just flows. And this is where the magic really starts to unfold. So if you're desiring to live a life that is really allowing you to, tune into your brilliance, to really create your full impact and in a state of flow, then this is for you. If you are struggling with your health and your energy, so despite how much money you spend on supplements, maybe seeing, different health practitioners, going to the gym, buying organic foods, you feel like you're doing all the right things, but you deep down, that it's not, something is missing, and you're still struggling to feel as vibrant in your body as you'd like to feel. You're craving confidence and radiance, beyond feeling good in your body and having great energy. You tend to really doubt yourself. And you want more confidence in yourself and in your own abilities as well. Then this is also for you. And above everything, you're fed up and done with feeling like crap, feeling out of alignment, creating in a state of force and hustle, and you're done. You're ready to transform, and you're ready for something new. So if any of this resonates with you, then you are in the right place. So before we go into everything about your cycle, I just want to explain to you who I am and how I got to this point. My name is Chelsea Marie. I'm a mom of two. I'm a board certified health coach. And there was a point in my life where I was making a ton of money but yet I was so miserable, and I knew how to eat clean. And this is where I learned the hard truth that at the end of the day, it doesn't just come down to eating our broccoli and our kale. It has to do with our personal relationships, living in an alignment with our soul's purpose, having an income and a job that we love. So I was 22 when I had my first $15,000 month. I was 23 when I was consistently hitting six figures. By the time I was 24, I was beyond burnt out. I had so many health issues, and I got to the point that having money meant nothing if I was living with such bad health. And that's when I realized that true wealth is when you're doing what you love and you're making money doing it, and you're doing it in good health. And that's what I want to do, is I want to teach you how you can really fuel your body, your beauty, your brilliance, and your business. So I was managing a nightclub. I had my own cleaning company. I was working at a naturopathic doctor's office. And I was also working for Air Canada Jazz, because I wanted to travel the world and I wanted freedom. But yet everything I was doing was contradicting that. And I had no time. I had no freedom. I'd spent well over $10,000 in 1 year jumping from healthcare practitioner to the next, seeing different naturopathic doctors, doing all this testing. And often they could not help me. I had one naturopath who actually made it very crystal clear that I had hypothyroidism, which was amazing, but he didn't point anything out about how my state of adrenals was affecting that. So I had no idea, how stress was affecting my adrenals, which was affecting my thyroid, how my gut, my digestion, how all of that was affecting my thyroid. So that's what I want to do, is I want to basically take all the different puzzle pieces, bring it together so you have the full picture. And then on top of that, really just bringing you what is a new, unconventional way to really essentially living your life, so that you can create whatever it is you want without feeling held back by not having enough energy, time, or good health. So yeah, I was at a point where I was sleeping 12 hours straight a day, and I was waking up exhausted. Like, I remember my girlfriend one day, I got to the club and she was like, "Have you not slept like in the past 2 days?" And I was like, "That's literally all I've been doing." I was furious. I was constantly getting sick for weeks at a time, severe bloating, indigestion. You'd think I was always within my first trimester of pregnancy. That's how bad the bloating was. My blood values were horrific. I remember one of my naturopathic doctors saying this is your prime time for fertility, and even if I wanted to try, I would not be successful at getting pregnant. That's how bad my blood values were. And what really did it for me was I woke up one day with severe, and I mean very obvious, you can't turn away from puffiness under one eye. And that's when I knew this is something that's more serious, and I had to change something. And then that's actually the third naturopath I went to. I spent a ton more money on more testing. He's the one that really narrowed down. Basically, I had what's called hidden hypothyroidism, because your TSH can be totally fine, but your T3s and your T4s can be very low. And in our Western medical system, if your TSH is normal, they will not test your T3s and your T4s. So I had to do a lot of out-of-pocket testing. My liver, my kidney, my lymph, nothing was draining properly. I actually had to spend about $3,000 on a medical grade infrared sauna just to help my body remove toxins. I was a mess. So I hit my breaking point. I decided I had saved up a ton of money. I took a year off of life. I got my education in nutrition, and I was blown away. I not only healed my body, but I also just awakened this version of myself I didn't even know existed. So that's what led me to really wanting to share my journey and help women transition their health and really step into their vitality. But after having children, I realized that was a whole new level of needing to not only know how to do self-care, nourish my body, but I got to a point where I was like, how am I supposed to care for myself when I'm barely getting sleep, and also wanting to run my business and help other people? And then that's when I came into cycle syncing, and I realized that there's a reason why as women, we have 4 phases to our cycle. And when we start living in flow to each phase, that is when we can really awaken our true vitality, really awaken our magnetism, and we're living in flow. And that is essentially where all the magic happens. And that is what I'm now here for, is to teach you, whether you are a mother and or you're not, just if you are here, you are driven, you know that you have a mission to create, and you are struggling to show up every single day because either your energy isn't there or you just feel like you can't keep up. It's taking too much out of your system. It feels like it's almost impossible. I'm going to teach you a new way of living, a new way of just living in flow, where you align your business and your cycle, your life and your business to your cycle, where you can really, like I said, have that wealthy woman energy, the unstoppable, energy, the focus, everything to accomplish and to co-create the life that you want. So if this sounds good to you, then you, like I said, are exactly where you need to be. So a couple things you may be struggling with is you're feeling tired when you you're feeling tired, just as tired when you wake up than when you went to bed. You're relying on coffee and sugar to get through the day. You might be experiencing digestive trauma, especially like monthly PMS meltdowns, whether it's with like inflammation, pain, your mood, living in a foggy haze, feeling like, you literally would have just done something and then 10 minutes later wondering, like, did I even get it done? Like, did I do it? Did I take my supplement? Did I like just have that? Did I write that down? So I've been there. Don't worry about it. Feeling like a hot mess, no matter what you're trying, you feel like you just can't get it together. Experiencing burnout and chronic fatigue, which is holding you back from enjoying your life, holding you back from enjoying motherhood, from enjoying just living, your life and enjoying it with your partner, creating the impact you want to make. When you don't have good energy, it's really hard, to be happy, and it's hard to feel motivated, and it's hard to essentially live out your full potential. You can't, because at the end of the day, being rich in energy is the key to not only happiness, but to creating the impact that you are here to make. You're struggling to stay consistent. A big part of that is because of the fatigue. You're hating how tired you look. This is one that really hit home for me, and which really, drove me to wanting to like actually make a lot of concrete changes when I realized it was, starting to affect just my confidence in ways where I felt like, puffiness under your one eye that's so obvious. It affected me in so many different ways. So if you feel like you can't help but look so tired, no matter how much makeup or, like expensive your skincare is, you are going to love this. It is going to naturally help as you regulate your hormones, and even just like the gut, part of it. You will be shocked at like your radiance and your complexion, your glow, just depuffing under your eyes, like just everything, like your face symmetry, everything changes when your body is in balance. Overall, if you're fed up and you're done and you're just like, you know what, I'm ready, I'm like, just tell me what to do, I want to start feeling better, this is for you. So as I mentioned, my intention is to introduce to you a unconventional approach that is going to fuel your body, your beauty, your brilliance, and your mission. And really what it comes down to is building yourself up. It's more than just eating your broccoli and your kale. It's about cultivating a strong connection to yourself, to your body, living in alignment with your soul's purpose, your soul's calling, and also regulating your nervous system. So as you build yourself up, which you will learn how to do as a way to honor your body through each phase of your cycle, you're really going to start to build up, like I said, your magnetism, feeling irresistible and completely unstoppable. So we are going to cover the 4 phases of your cycle, the power that you hold within each phase of your cycle, and then the hormone fluctuations, as well as 4 key organs you really want to give some TLC if you want to really start cultivating that wealthy woman energy. And then the 5 hormones that run the show. There's actually 6, but anyways, there's 5, and then I put like a little bonus one there. Okay, so phase number 1 is your menses phase. So this is your period phase. This is also known as your planning phase. So at this point, estrogen and progesterone levels have dropped, and they have now signaled to the uterus to shed the uterine lining. A substance called prostaglandin is what causes the uterus to contract. Inflammation at this time can rise because of the prostaglandins, but don't you worry if this is something that you struggle with, like the constant pain and the really bad cramping. In a woman's secret code, you're going to learn about all the proper essential fatty acids that you want to be taking and the ones that you want to reduce to balance that out. So hormones and energy are both on the lower end, and it usually lasts around 3 to 7 days, depending, we're all unique, but that's typically how long this phase will last for. Your superpower at this time, this is a time essentially of renewal, a time of connection to the divine feminine energy. So our energy really shifts inward at this time. We have our intuition is really heightened, and because of our brain chemistry shift, so what's happening is your right and your left brain hemisphere is communicating more more powerfully than it will all month long, which is basically making you primed, which is priming your brain to evaluate. So this is the time that you want to evaluate your life, your business, your health, your fitness goals, your relationship. If you feel like you're out of alignment with what you want, this is the time where that crystal clear, like all the answers become really crystal clear to you when you spend this phase of your cycle really going in depth into like asking yourself all those questions. What's working for me, what's holding me back, if it's within your business, right? And like you're finding that your launches aren't as great. Okay, like what have I been doing? What do I feel like is not working? Your analytical part of your brain and then the intuitive, the emotional part of your brain is beautifully harmonized and communicating. So just even asking, trying to figure out what the right next step is going to come so clear to you during this phase. So what is productive during this phase of your period specifically is setting new goals. You do want to rest and recharge. That is still very much productive during this phase. Your body is shedding the uterine lining. Your body is going to try to start rebuilding it at the same time. So your body is in a state, like I said, of rest. It's losing a lot of nutrients. You're losing a lot of iron. So don't try to push yourself in any way, shape, or form during this phase by allowing yourself to rest. And it could be basically sitting on the couch, having a cup of tea, journaling, and then really just mapping out and planning your entire month ahead, all of your goals. That is essentially what's going to be super productive to you at this time. Like I said, plan and organize your month ahead. And then also you do also want to get more sleep. So if you feel like you need the extra hour in the morning, or if you feel like you need to have that little cat nap during the daytime, do it, because you're going to be essentially supporting your body and building up its nutritional reserves, which you need for the next 3 phases of your cycle. So if you want to be able to burn the midnight oil during phase 2 as well as phase 3, then you need to allow yourself now to build up those reserves, so you have that energy to really go full blown. And then phase number 2. So this is your follicular phase, also known as the superstar phase. So the shift that's occurring is, so this technically starts with the beginning of your period. However, the true follicular phase starts at the end of our period. And what's happening is estrogen now is starting to increase. And with that increase in estrogen, there's a couple things happening. The body is now releasing a hormone called FSH, which is follicular stimulating hormone. And this is basically going to produce it's going to start creating the thickness of the lining. It's going to basically also essentially play a role in stimulating the ovaries eventually to ovulate at ovulation. But that estrogen is also now increasing your energy. It's increasing your productivity. It's changing your brain chemistry as well, and your mood and your energy and everything, the way that your body can work out. It's changing everything. So your superpower at this time, you basically are going to have the most consistent energy and like high levels of energy during this time of the month. So with that is because of the estrogen, and with the estrogen, what's happening is it's also changing your brain chemistry. Alpha brain activity is now predominant during this phase, which means that your performance all around is amazing. You can effortlessly wake up and get in your morning rituals. You'll get everything you want done in the daytime. Your day just kind of flows, and then you get your evening ritual in. You're just your non-stop go, and that feels fun and effortless because the energy is there. Your body wants to use it. So what's productive during this time is to get up and get things going. That plan that you created in your first phase, your period phase, the menses, that blueprint that you wrote out for the next, cycle, and then maybe you went over like your quarterly goals and like your yearly goals. This is the phase you want to put things into action. So this is also when you can burn the midnight oil. Men live on a 24-hour cycle where they basically wake up, they have a full batch full of like testosterone. So for men, it's very conducive to first thing in the morning, go and work out, put that testosterone to use. They can go to they can go to their job site or go to work, the office, whatever it is. And then come afternoon time, it starts to dip down low. By the end of the day, their cortisol, testosterone is lower, and then they go to bed and then they reset. For women, we function on a 28-day cycle. So we are not designed to co-create the way that men do. We do it in a very unique, more powerful way, I like to think of. And when you understand this, you can create such a powerful way that is, like I said, more fun and effortless. So this is the time you want to burn the midnight oil. Execute really big tasks during this phase. So once you decide what you need to get done during the month, plan all of the more energy demanding tasks to be done during this phase. Meet new people, start new projects. Your creativity is booming during this phase. And then we have phase 3, which is the ovulatory phase. This is your magnetic phase. So the shift that is occurring is estrogen has now increased to this point. So we have a couple hormones that have now skyrocketed. We have estrogen. We also have the follicular stimulating hormone, and then LH, which is the luteinizing hormone. All three of these have to come to a peak for ovulation to occur. And then at the same time, testosterone is now also coming to a peak as well. So because of this cocktail of hormones, like the peak in estrogen as well as the peak in testosterone, you are so magnetic. You are naturally magnetizing what you want and everything to you. Your energy just exudes confidence. People will look at you and just wonder, like, what is it that she has, kind of thing. And a big part of this too is, so it's also shifting your brain chemistry. Your brain chemistry is now highlighting and heightening your verbal skills, your ability to communicate, and also your ability to collaborate as well. So at this point, you can really convey what it is that you want to say with clarity. Like I said, you have this boss babe energy that just kind of like people can just see and feel. Sensuality is heightened. Our body on a biological standpoint is wanting to procreate. So our body naturally will attract men during this time. Your pheromones, everything is into play for that. And at the same time, you're also in a prime state to attract your soulmate clients. So what's really productive during this time is to show up on your Facebook lives, your Instagram lives, do your YouTube videos, go to networking events. People will feel that energy and be drawn to you. It's a great time to collaborate, to network, ask for a raise if you work with someone, if you have a boss. Don't be afraid to have those big conversations, whether it's needing to break up with someone or whether it's needing to demand or ask something of someone. During this phase, your fear is not going to hold you back. The confidence will be there, and like I said, your verbal skills are heightened. So it's just going to flow very effortlessly. And then the fourth phase is the luteal phase. This is the last phase of your cycle, and it happens right after ovulation. This is the manifesting phase. So during this phase, estrogen now drops and progesterone is now taking place. It is ramping up for the next 10 to 14 days. So your superpower during this phase within your brain chemistry, what's happening is now we have stronger delta activity that's happening in our brain. And this basically puts you in a state of meditation. So this is the phase where you want to essentially upgrade and rewire your entire belief system. If you like things like EFT tapping, or you like doing guided meditations, like I personally love Akashic meditations. And I find that my mind it just slows down and it just dives right in, and you can really reach deeper and deeper layers into your subconscious and really set new baseline beliefs much more effortlessly during this time. Whereas if you try like the follicular or the ovulatory phase, you're going to have such a busy mind that you're not going to get not even half the same results that you would if you were to do that kind of stuff in this phase. Your brain is just primed for it. So what's productive during this time is you want to put your creative skills to use, do meditation, hypnosis, EFT tapping. This is also, so because progesterone is on the rise, this is progesterone's phase specifically. Progesterone helps to calm your body. So you end up being a lot more focused. So this is the time that you really want to wrap up projects. If you have to do monthly, If you have to check in monthly with like all your numbers, all your bills, this is the time you'd want to do it. Whereas the follicular phase and the ovulatory phase, you'd have so much energy, it'd be harder to sit and focus to do things that you don't love doing and that require so much detail oriented tasks. So like I said, during the follicular phase and the ovulatory phase, you can do things like that, like I said, require more energy, more movement. And this phase, you can, like I said, wrap things up, bring them to completion. And you'll find you'll just, like I said, and that requires more detail orientation. You can do a lot more effortlessly. So in a women's secret code, one of the things that you learn is how to sync your workouts to each phase of your cycle. And this is crucial to preventing burnout and really allowing you to cultivate that wealthy woman energy. So one thing I will just mention briefly is that during the luteal phase, our metabolism changes. Our body's ability to basically recover also changes. So because of the peak in progesterone, it suppresses gluconeogenesis, which is basically the body's making of sugar from fats and proteins. So you don't recover the same way that you would in other phases. So for instance, during the follicular phase, or even more so like the ovulatory phase, you can do high intensity workouts, no problem, and you'll recover from it and you'll feel great. If you try to do that in this phase, you are actually going to cause more oxidative stress because your body can't recover as quickly and you are going to burn yourself a lot more quicker. And then what happens is if you do too much of that during this phase, you actually can cause what's called a pregnenolone steal. This is something that we really dive into a woman's secret code, and how stress causes this and a whole bunch of other things. But basically you are going to increase cortisol, and then it essentially depletes progesterone and estrogen. So it can really cause imbalances in your hormones. It'll actually just have the reverse effect. So knowing how to work out during each phase of your cycle is really important for not just balancing your hormones, but just really having, like I said, that wealthy woman energy that fuels your body, your beauty, your brilliance, and your business. So just kind of give you a little visual of what's happening with your hormones on like a week-to-week base or a monthly base is day 1 of your cycle. Your estrogen progesterone's at the lowest around day 7. That might be different for, from you to like your friend. Estrogen starts to increase. And then with that peak in estrogen, you get ovulation, and then estrogen goes down, and then progesterone starts to rise, and then they drop, and then the uterine lining starts to shed, and you're back at a whole new cycle. And like I said, with the different fluctuations and the peaks, your brain chemistry, your mood, your energy, performance, everything shifts. So we have what's called the HPO, which is the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. And this is one of our body's feedback loops. And this is happening from the hypothalamus, to the pituitary, to the ovaries. And there's constant communication, constantly. So for instance, your brain has to communicate to your ovaries at the beginning stage, and that is when it releases the follicular stimulating hormone, which then talks to the ovaries and says, hey, we're ready for estrogen. And then the body produces estrogen, and then that has another feedback loop back to the brain, to the pituitary, and that says, hey, it's now time for the luteinizing hormone. So then the luteinizing hormone gets released, goes back to the ovaries, and then it triggers the ovaries to release an egg. Anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this HPO axis is really essential for our whole body system. And when we are stressing our body out, when we are depleting our reserves, when we are living in a state that is out of flow and out of sync with our body's natural rhythm, it creates a huge imbalance in this entire HPO system, to the point where you might not be ovulating, or you might not get your period at all, or your period might be all over the place. That is a sign that the communication pathways aren't functioning optimally. However, when we can live in sync with our body, our natural rhythm, it balances out beautifully. And then you can really, like I said, really start creating in your full potential. Okay. So here are 4 organs that you really need to give lots of TLC to really create this beautiful harmony and balance within your body if you really want your energy, your glow, and your power back. So the first one being the thyroid. So we have what's called T3 and T4. So T3 is the active form. So the body basically has to convert T4 to T3. And then what's happening is only 7% of T3 is actually produced by the thyroid. The majority of it is actually produced by the liver, and then another percentage is also produced by the gut. So, and the thyroid governs your body's ability to essentially have chemical reactions. So if you're not converting your T3 and your T4 properly, then your thyroid essentially will start to slow down your liver. And guess what? Your liver actually converts and activates about 60, if not more, percent of your T3. So we need to really support our thyroid. A big part of this, like I said, is when you start living in sync with your cycle, it supports your thyroid. And then a big part of a woman's secret code is really educating you and empowering you on how to support your liver, how to support your digestive tract, how to support your adrenals, and how to just really tie this all together. So your liver, when stressed out or overloaded, basically is going to not be able to remove toxins effectively out of your system. And then you end up with excess bad estrogen, which starts to accumulate and becomes really inflammatory and very toxic for your body. Your digestive system plays a huge role, not just for like your mood and your productivity, because it does produce a ton of serotonin and dopamine, but it also breaks down your estrogen. It also helps to convert your like I said, it supports your thyroid and the production of your active T3s. So supporting our digestive system is essential. One of the things that happens when we have too much bad bacteria is the estrogen that was broken down and metabolized by our liver. As our body tries to excrete it, which is either through digestion or through the kidneys, bad bacteria can take it and reactivate it into a very toxic form back into our bloodstream. So having really good gut health is really essential, not just for balancing our hormones, but for energy, our skin, our mood, our levels of productivity, and just everything all around. And then, of course, our adrenals, our body, this is our body's survival kit. If you have prolonged stress, so for instance, working out the wrong way during different phases of your cycle, not giving your body the nutrients it needs during each phase of your cycle, now you start going into nutrient deficiency. Cortisol starts to skyrocket because you're working out the wrong ways and you're stressing your body out. Your body feels stressed because it's depleted in nutrients. Just high levels of stress from just, trying to be of service and trying to serve your clients and run your business. All of this, what happens is it causes a depletion of DHEA. So DHEA is your body's main anti-aging hormone. So you start to feel like you're aging quicker, and that's because your body is aging quicker. And then we also get that pregnenolone steal. So essentially DHEA goes down, and then basically progesterone is now used and converted to cortisol because your body needs it to keep up with cortisol. Your body will always prioritize cortisol because that is your survival hormone. And then eventually we get to a point where our body is so deficient and can't keep going that we literally have no energy, can't get out of bed, have no motivation, and then that's where I was, and life feels really, really, really miserable. But on the plus side is you can totally recover from it. And it's a lot easier than you think, and it doesn't take, half of your life. You can start to feel better now, essentially. So these are 5 hormones that you really need to know. The other one, the DHEA, is just like an added one that I wanted to talk about. So cortisol and insulin, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So cortisol is our body's main stress hormone. As I mentioned, if cortisol is high, we can deplete our energy by up to 50%, if not more. Insulin, if we don't regulate our insulin, and this requires regulating our blood sugar level. So knowing how to essentially nourish your body. And that also has to do with knowing how to structure your meals, and then really how to structure your day with your meals. When you know how to do this, you can balance your insulin in such an easy way, where not only are you reducing inflammation and balancing your hormones, but you have so much more energy than you've ever had. And then estrogen, as we talked about, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are main sex hormones. If they're out of whack, then your energy and motivation is going to go down by up to 30% to even more. And then DHEA, like I said, if we're stressed out, that is going to affect your energy by up to almost 40%. So it's really important to just, know how to support our cortisol and know how to balance our insulin and know how to support our estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. And then of course, if you do all of that, the DHEA will naturally balance out as well. And if we don't, then we end up with an entire list of symptoms. You get to a point where you go to the doctors and then all they say is, well, here's an anti-anxiety, or here is an antidepressant, or here is a painkiller. Don't get me wrong. I love our family doctor. And she's been amazing. I'm so grateful for her. She's so good with the kids. And I really love that she also is food-based. But there are certain things that she's not allowed to test for. And, I went to her a couple times expressing that I felt that I was undermethylated, and she was amazing. She gave me the requisition for, you can't test it by blood, but you can test. There's a couple levels, homocysteine specifically, that you can test. And then when I went in to get it tested, they wouldn't let me test it. I offered to pay and they just said, sorry, it's not available. So I just mean our system as a whole isn't really set up to support us fully unless you get to the point where you are extremely sick and you're at the point where it's you either need surgery, intense medication, and we want to avoid that. You can be at this in-between stage where it's you're suffering and it feels like you're struggling, and yet they can't really do much but give you a pill because they're not designed to teach you how to nourish your body. They're really just designed to essentially support you with higher advanced stages that require other medical support. Like I said, I do not mean to bash our medical system. I'm so grateful, for so many different ways. But when it comes to things like this, there's so much that you can do that you can turn around so quickly with just food alone and lifestyle changes. So if you feel like you've been having all these somatic symptoms, like somatic syndrome symptoms, where you go to the doctors and they're like, well, nothing is really showing, often it is because, something in your hormones are imbalanced, especially your cortisol. So where do you even start? Well, number one, you're going to want to start tracking your cycle. I love to teach women in a woman's secret code how to do this by taking their temperature. This is so incredibly empowering because by tracking your temperature, you'll understand if you are now high in estrogen, if you're low in progesterone, if you are ovulating, if you're not ovulating. You can do it with an app, but it's not as accurate. And you can get you can get testing, but it can get really expensive. So either way, just start tracking it, even if it means just the day that you start and the day that you end. You don't need to know exactly what day you're ovulating. As you get to know your body, you will understand and learn when you are ovulating and then when you're going to get your period. That is great, but it won't necessarily tell you if you're high estrogen, low estrogen, or high or low progesterone, or if you are ovulating for sure or not. But either way, just start tracking it. Write it down, or get the app. Flow is a really great one to just help you kind of understand the day that you get it, the day that you're expecting to get it, and then when you're possibly ovulating. And then you want to start. So essentially, when it comes to cycle syncing, when it comes to syncing your life with your cycle, you are going to be adjusting your exercise, your food, your sleep, your self-care, and even your sex life to your cycle. Now, this is so much easier than you think. And it doesn't mean having to completely drastically change everything. For instance, like in a woman's secret code, you're going to learn, when the best time to do the high intensity is, what kind of workouts you can do during your menses as well as your luteal phase, what foods specifically are really going to support your body that you're, for instance, like the nutrients your body is heavily losing during your period versus the nutrient demand required during the luteal phase. They're very different. And when you understand what foods to add in, and that's really what it comes down to, is just adding in a couple more different foods to really support your adrenal reserves and to support your body's performance. So that way you aren't running on empty. And then, even like I mentioned earlier, your body goes through fluctuations with energy and might require an extra hour of sleep during different phases. So when you understand how to adjust all of this, you really start feeling like you're living in flow. And then when you sync your business, everything is a game changer. So just a little recap of what we went over here. We have the 4 phases of our cycle. The first one being the menstrual phase, which is the planning phase. This is related to the new moon. It lasts around 3 to 7 days. Hormone levels have dropped. Energy can be low at this time. You can require more rest as well, for sure. You might even need more sleep. And then overall, you really want to manage your cortisol and your insulin, which is your blood sugar levels. And then phase 2 is the follicular phase. This is the superstar phase. This is when everything starts to feel really fun. It's related to the first quarter moon. It lasts around 14 days. Estrogen is now increasing. Energy is really good. This is when you go all out. And of course, as always, manage your cortisol and your blood sugar levels. Phase 3 is the ovulatory phase. This is the magnetic phase. This is related to the full moon. It lasts technically 24 hours. However, the energy is felt for about 3 to 5 days. So that's like a couple of days before, even a couple of days after. Estrogen is at its peak. Energy is also at its peak. You really can go all out as well during this phase. But as always, manage your cortisol as well as your blood sugar levels. And then our fourth phase is the luteal phase. This is your manifesting phase. This is related to the last quarter moon. It begins right after ovulation and right at your period, just before your period. Energy is starting to slow down. So once again, just by understanding this, you probably have a pretty good idea how you'd want to maybe change even like your schedule, whether it's for your workout routine or like your work routine, as energy can be a bit more, you can feel more fatigue in the luteal, especially that last week just before your period. You want to increase self-care. You require a lot more nutrients during this phase just to support progesterone production. That alone is going to have a huge impact on your mood and your energy. You will probably need more sleep and more rest as well, especially towards that second half. And then as always, manage your cortisol as well as your insulin to regulate your blood sugar levels. Okay, so if what we're going to do now is I'm going to just give you a sneak peek of a woman's secret code. So if you are at a point where you're like, I need help, I am here for you. And this is why I created a woman's secret code, because I was struggling with this. And then I kind of just, created a program for myself. And then I realized like other women need to know this, and which is why this and where this kind of came from. So module number 1 is cycle syncing mastery. So you are going to learn how to master the 4 phases of your cycle, how to align your daily routines, your rituals, your diet, self-care, exercise, sleep, even sex. You are going to learn how to sync all of that with each phase of your cycle for profound clarity, for energy and vitality. And this is really the secret to cultivating that wealthy woman energy and tapping into your fullest potential. Module 2 is wealthy women wellness. So you are going to learn the 4 pillars of hormone harmony in this module, which is regulating your blood sugar levels. And this alone is life-changing. If you are struggling with your weight, with energy, with just like your health, this is really your anti-aging protocol. Like I've worked with so many clients who were either type 2 diabetic, had severe health issues, a lot of weight to lose, just a lot of inflammation, hormonal imbalances. And this is actually what I specialized in for years. And the results that come from it in the matter of like literally like a month of applying it is mind blowing. I had so many clients come off their medication for diabetes, come off medication for inflammation, just overall, and like dropped weight. Not that this is a weight loss protocol. I mean, at the end of the day, when you give your body what it needs and everything balances out, your body balances out. So it is, like I said, this part alone is going to be life-changing. Your nervous system and your endocrine system regulation, this is really essential when it comes to co-creating the life that you want. If your nervous system and endocrine system is not regulated, we're constantly held back by fear, and we're also living in a state of fight or flight. And then our body, what happens is even this alone causes our pregnenolone steal because it really skyrockets cortisol. So knowing how to support your body with this is going to be huge. Having a thriving gut and just optimal liver performance. So you're going to learn about the gut health, about liver performance, which foods and which herbs are really going to support you. And then creating daily rituals that ignite your spirit. And then a bonus with this is the methylation guide. So this is something that I am so excited to offer this as a bonus. So 1 in 4 people-ish, about 22% of people are undermethylated. And there's a personality trait with people who are undermethylated. Undermethylated basically means that your body is not converting folate to methylfolate, the active form. which your body needs for liver detoxification, for neurotransmitter production, for DNA replication. It's essential for your energy, mood, performance, everything. However, there is a personality trait that comes with it. Typically ambitious, high performing, perfectionist, maybe even like OCD. And I find a lot of women who come to me are undermethylated. They are also very energy sensitive. So there's a guide that explains to you what it is, the type of blood work that you can get done to indicate whether you are undermethylated, genetic testing, which I do offer. So if that's an add-on that you're interested in, I'm more than happy to dive into that. But it's a phenomenal bonus. And then herbal alchemy. So module 3 is all about how to amplify your brilliance, your energy, and just your whole life with using herbs. Herbs are so powerful. They're phenomenal to support our elimination channels. They're phenomenal for really helping to regulate our hormones, our mood. They're amazing. So we're going to dive into that. You're going to learn about different herbs to support your endocrine and your nervous system, herbs for your hormones, herbs for digestion. And then as a bonus, you also have access to Herbal Brilliance, which is a bonus guide that was in my Dream Life Blueprint course. So that goes more into nervine tonics, which are different, but they go really beautifully with adaptogenic herbs to really support the endocrine and the nervous system. And then module 4 is CEO Synced, which is how to effortlessly grow and expand within your business. So you are going to learn how to sync your business to your cycle. So you will learn how to market, how to create content, your launches, everything to do with your business and how and what you want to do essentially during each phase of your cycle. So you can really start effortlessly creating the business that you are just in love with and that just feels fun and effortless and gives you energy as opposed to taking energy from you. So just a little recap for a woman's secret code. You get the cycle syncing mastery, which is module 1, wealthy women wellness, module 2, herbal alchemy, module 3, and then CEO synced. And then you also have 2 bonuses. There's the methylation bonus, and then there was the other herbal brilliance bonus as well. And then you do have the option to upgrade. However, just everything we talked about right now is well over $2,000. As you can see here, all the modules separately add up to $2,459. But if you want just the content alone, which you can have access to immediately after this masterclass, it's only $555, and that is yours. And then you can just literally start right away balancing your hormones and cultivating that wealthy woman and energy and really start syncing your business to your cycle. If you, however, want to upgrade for pocket coaching or even one-on-one coaching, because you want more of a personal transformation, that is no problem. That is an option for you. So if you want to upgrade to pocket coaching, that's for 8 weeks. So you can decide when that starts. So you can go through all the course content and then decide, I want to start my pocket coaching now and kind of go over everything. Or you can start it as you do the entire course content. You can dive into the course content. And honestly, if you binged it for a weekend, you can get it done. It is a lot. You're going to want to listen to it a couple of times if you do it that way, because it's so much information. But like I said, with the pocket coaching, you can kind of choose when you want to start. And that's for 8 consecutive weeks, where basically you can reach out anytime with questions. And then once a week, I will reach out to you to check in and to also guide you and support you and coach you along the process. So these are about 15 to 20 minute weekly check-ins. But on top of that, if you have questions that come up, I'm more than happy to answer those for you. And that happens over either through Voxer or we do it over Messenger through the voice messaging. And that is only for $999. And then we have personalized coaching as well. So if you want to do on top of the weekly pocket coaching sessions, if you want to have 2 one-on-one coaching calls, and this is where they're an hour long each, and we dive into really what is holding you back. So if you feel like you are a bit stuck, you need more clarity as to like whether it's what's happening in your diet, what's happening in your life that's really draining your energy, and you're not too sure really where to start, we can really focus on what is getting in the way, whatever that looks like for you. And then the the second call is we really start putting things together. This is where we really look at your business and your life, and then how you can start tweaking everything with your cycle and your business. Because I understand not everyone's business is the same, and then you might need a bit more support to really kind of seamlessly make that integration, and that's what those calls are for. So with the 8-week pocket coaching and the 2 1-hour calls, that's for $1,400. So I just realized there's an error here. It says that you can save 222 with a friend. You can save with a friend, but it's actually $200. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to put that there. We'll dive into that in the next slide. And then there is the full package where you get the weekly 8-week pocket coaching, the 2 one-on-one calls, and then you could also get your genetic testing. So this is where we test 70 genetic markers. You can find out if you are undermethylated. You can find out if your body is converting vitamin D properly, vitamin A properly, just everything. It tells you literally an entire breakdown of what's happening with your body. And then you find out what foods your body's lacking and what your body needs. And then with that, you get a bonus 90-minute intensive one-on-one call specifically to go over your genetic testing. So you get, as a total, 3 one-on-one calls. One of those is a 90-minute, 2 of them are 1 hour, and then you get the 8 weeks of pocket coaching and the genetic testing, and that's for $2,222. So you have a couple options here to kind of meet you where you're at. And then, like I said, if you want to transform with a friend and you want to save, you absolutely can. We actually lengthen the calls from an hour to 75 minutes. So those are shared together. But this way I find you get to really share your experience. And I find success breeds success. So as you're succeeding, you see, it kind of, as your friend's succeeding, it motivates you. It's a beautiful journey to really share together to kind of keep even more momentum going. You guys will both still get the pocket coaching sessions. So you both will get the individual, more one-on-one support through pocket coaching, and then share your 2 coaching calls together. So if that is of interest to you, you can save $200 each doing that. I'm so sorry. I just realized it still says the 222. So normally that would be $1,400, and it brings it down to $1,200. And whether you do this with a friend or whether you do it on your own with the one-on-one calls, you get my Dream Life Blueprint for free. So this is a value of $222. There is an option to upgrade to pocket coaching. But otherwise, this course I initially created for anyone who is feeling stuck, drained, depleted, very out of alignment. And the purpose of this course is to help you revamp your entire world. So you essentially really declutter and reorganize and detox your entire, not just your diet, but your entire lifestyle. So you are going to change your home environment and everything to essentially align with the life that you want to create. It is really a beautiful manifesting course. You do learn about moon cycle syncing, alignment activation. So essentially how to really drastically shift your entire world into alignment with what it is you want to co-create. There is an anatomy base to this, not nearly as much, not even half as much as a woman's secret code, but there is still a really good amount of anatomy that you will learn. And then, like I said, you get the essential nutrients guide with this one, which is a really cool one. And then the herbal brilliance, which you actually get as a bonus in the woman's secret code. But this course, what I love about it is it's phenomenal. I personally do this protocol every season, and every season I do it, it brings in so much more abundance into my life and really just drastically shifts me into a higher alignment. So that's what it's really amazing for as well. So just a little recap, because I know we've gone over a lot of information. This is so much more than just knowing how to fuel your body for, so your body's topped up on a nutritional standpoint. This is a lifelong transformational journey. It goes beyond knowledge and beyond nutrition. You are going to, like I said, empower yourself, but you're also going to be guided into awakening the next level version of yourself. And you are going to be able to do that time and time and time again. You're going to have expert guidance available to you. So even if you're not doing the pocket coaching sessions or the one-on-one, I am with you in video content every step of the way. Every single module, you have an easy to implement little bite-size checklist to help you integrate what is essential from module to module. And as you know, if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I don't want you to feel alone in this ever. And if you ever want to upgrade and to have more support, you have that available to you as well, to really tailor it so it's a more personalized transformation. And this is essentially, it's a holistic approach. That's one thing I learned the hard way, was that it's not just food. And in this case, it's not just food. It's about connecting to your body. It's about understanding your body. And it's about also, when you do that, you become so much more deeply connected to yourself, the world outside you, the universe, and you start to cultivate this sense of like intuition, this confidence, and just knowing what it is that you need. And at the same time too, your intuition heightens. It's a really beautiful deepening connection for yourself that really allows you to fully step into your full potential. And then of course, this is lasting results. The results go so much more beyond the 8 weeks or beyond just watching the videos. This is going to create a huge, massive ripple effect in your life, not just how you live, not just how you show up, but also in the impact that you are here to make. So this brings us to the end. And I want to ask you, what would life look like a year from now if you invested your time and your energy in building yourself up? Just think to yourself, like close your eyes for just a minute, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, take a really deep breath, then exhale, and just ask yourself, like, a year from now, if I were to be building myself up, like, what would my life look like? What would it look like to wake up every single morning feeling energized, vibrant, in my power, knowing that I am in alignment with my soul's purpose and I am creating the impact that I know that I was brought here to make? And you're doing it in a way where you feel so radiant. Just ask yourself what that would look like. And if this feels like the right next thing to support you, then I am all in with you. Just know that, okay? So this brings us to the end of this masterclass. I hope you have a lot here that you can take away with and start implementing right away. If you have any feedback or questions, please reach out to me. You can connect with me on Instagram at Chelsea Marie Coaching, or on Facebook under Chelsea Marie. I always love to hear what you have to say. And like I said, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. And if you want to hop on a call to, if you have questions about the pocket coaching or the one-on-one coaching, I am more than happy to hop on a call. So I will leave it at that, my love. And just know right now you have the link to enroll for the course as a standalone course. If you want to upgrade, you can definitely do that once you purchase the course, and then I will easily set you up so that you can have your upgraded choice available to you. Anyways, I will end it here. Have an amazing day, and I really look forward to hearing from you at some point in the future. Bye.